but I think it's still going to leave a lot of books in our libraries that are just not making our kids better people.
A debate tonight about books in school libraries.
Encourage an environment of learning and growth.
Hear from both sides and what one district has decided.
A Utah family is devastated after a fire.
In a situation like this where we've lost everything, you really need everyone.
What was lost and the incredible response by the community.
We are dealing with an individual that, is shooting at people randomly.
A manhunt tonight in Juab County after a driver starts shooting at other vehicles on I-15, hitting 2 people.
Mild and hazy here along the Wasatch Front. So coming up, I am tracking a storm that's going to improve our air quality. I'll have the timing.
6-packs have already jumped 50 cents to $1 on store shelves.
A big change for some smaller breweries all across the country. The impact it could have on Utah's craft community.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Bob Evans.
And I'm Emily Tenser in for Kelly Chapman. Tonight, the Canyon School District is one step closer to updating policy on reviewing and potentially banning books in school libraries.
This comes after parent complaints led to several books being temporarily pulled. Fox 13's Lauren Steinbrecher is live in Sandy tonight, where she attended tonight's discussion. Lauren.
Yeah, Bob and Emily. So there was a policy in place when it came to things like the books that are in the libraries and how do we review those books. But the issue here is that the parents that complained did not have kids who were actually in those schools, and that wasn't really covered under that current policy. So tonight they reviewed some changes that would address that.
A review of the review process when it comes to school library materials. Small proposed tweaks to formal policy, but a huge deal to families and students.
And it seems like a lot of books are coming in that are just not great literature.
The idea that they can specifically target either certain books or certain authors or certain topics and genres, which will affect the students' ability to be able to read that type of literature.
The review of the school library materials selection and review policy comes after Canyons pulled 9 books, many featuring LGBTQ+ themes, off high school library shelves following complaints from parents outside those schools saying the books contain pornographic material. Blue marks what's different in the 9-page policy, such as specifying that books are added to libraries based on age appropriateness for the emotional development, ability level, learning styles, and intellectual development of the students, along with a longer list of potential criteria.
The next element in the policy that was absent from our previous is a review process.
That line now says a parent/legal guardian of a student may request a school-level review. Those concerned with the content of the 9 books in question wonder if this policy is enough.
I think they're trying to do a good job, but I think it's still going to leave a lot of books in our libraries that are just not making our kids better people.
Some students hope any new review process doesn't limit what's represented in school library literature or their access to it.
I think it's really great that the school is setting up a format in which to review and go over that content. I think, though, as long as that review process is not harmful or damaging to certain individuals, then we are still being healthy and safe.
Tonight was a first reading, and the board seemed to like the changes and wanting to move forward, so it will go through at least 1 to 2 more readings before it's actually passed and becomes policy. As far as those 9 books, they are pulled off the shelves. They will be that way until they're able to be reviewed under the new policy that's passed. Live in Sandy, Lauren Steinbrecher, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Thanks, Lauren. The Cache County community is rallying behind a Cornish farm after a haystack fire causes hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage. A fire broke out inside a barn at the Creech Dairy Farm Saturday evening. Over 650 tons of hay went up in flames. The blaze also spread to another nearby barn, burning straw, equipment, and cattle feed. The initial estimate of damage exceeds $350,000. Brothers Nick and Colton Creech say since Saturday, neighbors and other farmers have showed up to help clean up or donate hay. Nick Creech says the fire was put out just in time before reaching 25 baby calves who were within 30 feet of the hay barn.
They were already burning. They were so hot and they was able to, everybody got them away, because otherwise in 5 minutes they would have literally been burned to death.
Just tonight we had a truck of about 40 tons of hay that arrived on site, and nobody will let us pay them for them. It's all just being donated.
Devastating fire damage comes in the midst of a hay shortage, with hay prices tripled because of the drought. There's a GoFundMe set up to help the Creech family. You can find the link to that at fox13now.com.
A Logan City worker made a gruesome discovery this morning. They found the body of a motorcyclist in the area of 1750 West on 200 South. Logan police were called at about 9:30 this morning. They believe the motorcyclist lost control of his bike and left the road. They're still trying to determine when he actually crashed.
He was found by a Logan City employee who was out here. They did some road repairs just recently, and they came out to check the road repairs and discovered the accident and the deceased.
The motorcyclist has not yet been identified. Police say he was wearing a helmet. 2 people are recovering after being shot this morning along I-15 in Juab County.
The shooter apparently took aim at vehicles as they drove northbound on I-15 from Scipio to Nephi this morning. Fox 13's Spencer Joseph has details on this scary incident from Scipio.
We are dealing with an individual that, is shooting at people randomly.
There is a apparent gunshot round that went through the door.
And we are dealing with a firearm here. We've still got a lot of investigation to go.
Another vehicle down on 196 has been shot.
4 vehicles are hit by bullets this morning along I-15. 2 people were hit, but thankfully not seriously injured. The shooter randomly targeted drivers heading the opposite direction along I-15.
Some of the individuals that were shot didn't even know that they were being shot at. They thought, potentially that someone was throwing debris at them.
Something hit her side and also hit her head.
Community members tell Fox 13 one of the victims ended up at the Flying J gas station in Nephi. An elderly woman who didn't even know she had been shot and was shaken up by the experience. Several miles south at the Millard County line, a semi-truck was also hit by bullets. Fox 13 capturing the truck being towed away. And UHP troopers searching on foot along the freeway for any evidence that might lead them to the shooter.
Very concerning. We want to make sure that we locate this individual.
The car is described as an older model light-colored or white SUV, possibly a Jeep Cherokee. But if anyone witnessed anything out of the ordinary,
whether they witnessed it or noticed anything suspicious in the area, we'd love for them to contact investigators. Just be alert, use caution, report anything suspicious.
That suspect was last seen very close to where I am now, driving southbound on I-15 near Scipio. The Utah Highway Patrol also says they will have extra patrols in the area in an effort to keep the public safe. In Scipio, Spencer Joseph, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, it was a warm and dry end to November, highlighted by the inversion along the Wasatch Front. We all saw it and even smelled it today.
Yeah, it was definitely not easy to see the mountains today. Let's check in with Fox 13 meteorologist Allison Krogan. Allison, is December looking promising?
December's looking a lot more promising than our month of November here across Salt Lake City and a lot of Utah. Beautiful sunset though tonight in Sterling, Utah. Thanks so much to Vicki for sending this picture in. Salt Lake right now 37 degrees, visibility down to 5 miles. So not only is the haze making it difficult for breathing, but also is being able to see not that great tonight as you're driving here across the valley because of this haze. Right now, our air quality, our PM 2.5 is at the moderate level for Salt Lake County. That's the forecast for Wednesday and Thursday. We do have mostly clear conditions here across the state currently. When you wake up tomorrow morning, temperatures around freezing in Salt Lake by 9 a.m., upper 30s. Coming up, I am tracking a pretty decent looking storm. I'll have the latest coming up.
Coming up on Fox 13 News at 9.
We shouldn't lose sight of what's happening to us right now in Utah.
Utah doctors have their eyes on Omicron as hospitals continue to be overwhelmed. The message they have as we continue to fight the Delta variant.
It's going to impact a lot of small craft breweries.
The can conversation continuing for smaller breweries here in Utah. We'll explain coming up.
We want to make sure that the families that we serve get to have kind of the same holiday experience as so many families.
And Fox 13 News and the Candy Cane Corner are giving back to those in need this holiday season. How you can help without leaving the comfort of your car. Still ahead.
It's championship week for the Utah and Utah State football teams. Coming up, we'll hear from the Utes and Aggies as they get ready for their big games.
During the pandemic, local breweries have had to get creative just to stay afloat. And now another big change could impact their bottom line.
And it affects the entire craft brewing community in Utah. Fox 13's Brian Schnee explains how it could send beer prices up.
This past week, one of the world's largest aluminum can distributors, Ball Corporation, announced that they'll be increasing their minimum order requirement for printed cans. From 204,000 cans to roughly 1 million cans starting in the new year.
It's going to impact a lot of small craft breweries.
For Salt Flats Brewing Company and other local craft brewers in Utah, it's just another hurdle to get over.
We just got a truckload of cans from Ball, which used to be their minimum order quantity. And now that they are pushing craft brewers out and only focusing on big names, it's really going to impact us.
The pandemic already forced breweries to adapt and get creative to survive. Now some will need to do it again by finding ways to get the cans they need at a price point and quantity they can work with. This recent news could further the trickle-down effect of supply costs, all the way to your wallet as a consumer.
6-packs have already jumped 50 cents to $1 on store shelves. 12-packs are up $1. And you're going to see more of it in the spring.
When we changed from glass to cans, we saw our sales grow 30% overnight.
At Shades Brewing, they put out over 1 million cans last year alone. And over the past few years, they've had to make some changes when it comes to cans. They're prepared to pivot once again.
We've basically run out, so you'll not see printed cans from us at this point, where in 2020 you did.
The change from Ball will require a minimum of 5 truckloads of printed cans per SKU. The company will also raise its price per can by nearly 50% for non-contract customers. It's the printed cans that used to be the most affordable option for breweries, costing about $0.10 per can.
The incentive behind getting to a printed can is that your costs go way down per unit.
But now if they can't get those printed cans, they're going to have to get creative again. Some looking at bottling with glass again, others looking at printing sleeves and labeling on their own. Local brewers fear there's even a chance this pushes smaller breweries out of the market and just gives more room for the larger craft companies to move in.
For us, when our margins are really small and it's really slim, the difference of, a dime or a nickel a can is either make or break for you.
In Salt Lake City, Brian Schnee, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Legislatures are responsive to people, and they need to hear from the people.
The DABC wants you to call your state lawmakers about Utah's liquor laws. The legislature is set to consider more changes.
As Fox 13's Ben Winslow reports, drinkers may like some of the proposed changes, but on the other hand, other proposals may leave them frustrated.
As they do every year, lawmakers will run a bill to make changes to Utah's liquor laws.
We have been working collaboratively with stakeholders, the legislative leads.
Representative Timothy Hawks is among those tasked with handling alcohol policy for the Republican majority in the legislature. He told Fox 13 some of the things you can expect in the next omnibus bill. Click and collect is the idea of ordering online, then going to pick up and pay for your order at the nearest state-run liquor store, after showing ID, of course.
Well, I think click and collect will probably have I think you can do that under existing authority.
Lawmakers will address a brewing problem Fox 13 first told you about earlier this year. Very popular hard seltzers don't meet Utah's unique legal definition of beer. There's a danger they get pulled from grocery and convenience store shelves.
We still will have some Utah-specific definitions that exist in code. we're Utah, and so, one should expect that to a certain extent.
But lawmakers and stakeholders appear to be closer to a deal to keep them on store shelves.
I think seltzers will stay, but I think there'll be some clarification about what can and cannot be sold.
But lawmakers may refuse to address something the DABC Commission has been pushing for.
I know that every one of the commissioners is frustrated when they see business people who are ready to go and operate a business, are enthusiastic about operating a business, and we can't do anything to help them at all.
For months now, the DABC Commission has been openly complaining about a lack of bar licenses. The governor has even said he favors adding more licenses, which are doled out based on a population quota. But the legislature appears so far reluctant to make any changes.
We have to balance that availability on the one hand with managing those social costs on the other, and that's what that balance is what we're trying to strike.
The legislature may reverse course on allowing bars to sell their coveted licenses to the highest bidder. Some have sold for over $100,000. The DABC Commission chair still urges people to contact their lawmakers if they want changes.
If you have a vested interest in this, you should talk to the legislature and tell them your story as to why you think we should have more bar licenses.
On the Hill, Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Haze has been the main story here across the state for the last several days. So I've gone ahead and I've updated our data from Purple Air this evening. So for the Cache Valley, air quality is now moderate. That's a little bit worse than it was earlier this evening. Once you get in towards Perry, Ogden, even towards Layton, quite a bit worse. We are seeing west of I-15 a little bit of air that is unhealthy for sensitive groups getting mixed in. Same thing right in the middle of the Salt Lake Valley. From about the southern interchange, I-215 and I-15, all the way up towards the airport, air quality out towards West Valley and Magna, again trending towards the orange level, which is unhealthy for sensitive groups. Across the entire state, a bit better once you get into southern Utah, but overall, here's what you need to know. Temperatures right now, mid to upper 30s for Salt Lake, Ogden. Provo, 29 degrees currently. We look at satellite and radar. We do have mostly clear sky here across the state. And your temperatures this evening by 1 o'clock in the morning, we're in the mid to low 30s for Provo, Salt Lake, and Ogden. Logan, same thing. But then by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, our temperatures will still be about 40 to 45, so very similar to this morning, but maybe just a little bit warmer. For St. George, you're in the upper 60s tomorrow, 67 also for Thursday, upper 60s for Friday. We take you into this weekend, you'll have some nice weather. Overnight temperatures for St. George, mid-30s the next few nights, and then closer to 40 degrees Sunday into next week. Now here's your Wasatch Front Super 7-day forecast. You might be wondering, okay, well, what's so super about this? Why is it called that? We call our more in-depth 7-day forecast our Super 7-day because I can just click on each day and I can bring you some more details. So for tomorrow, our hourly temperatures by 11 o'clock in the morning, mid-40s, and then after lunchtime, by 1 o'clock, we're going to be into the 50s. Now, I think it's pretty super that I can click on each day and get some more details. Thursday, 57 degrees for a high here in Salt Lake City. Chances for precipitation, they go up just a little bit on Saturday, but then we have a better chance for more precipitation to move in Monday and Monday night. And then we look at Friday, mostly sunny, mid-50s here in Salt Lake City. And we're going to have some temperatures that are above average this weekend. A warm start to December. Then we have a storm Monday into Tuesday with snow levels mostly around 7,000 feet because it's going to be somewhat warm as it starts. By Saturday, mostly sunny, mid-50s here in Salt Lake City again. We're tracking more valley inversions the next several days, so we're going to want to get up into the mountains. If you're skiing on Saturday, temperatures right around freezing at 8 a.m., at 10 a.m., and then into the mid-30s after lunchtime tomorrow. After lunchtime on Saturday in the Cottonwood Canyons, and then we are going to see an increased chance for some rain next week. We'll talk more about that storm coming up later in the hour.
Thanks, Allison. Still ahead, a new screening tool could make testing for breast cancer easier and safer. Hear from the University of Utah assistant professor who came up with the idea.
And it has happened again. Another deadly school shooting, this time in Michigan. What police are saying tonight. In national news, 3 people are dead and 8 others wounded after a school shooting in Oxford, Michigan, just north of Detroit.
Police say a 15-year-old male student opened fire today on students and teachers before being taken into custody. They've recovered a semi-automatic handgun and believe the suspect acted alone. Our sister station WXYZ spoke to one student who says he decided to stay home from school today because he'd heard rumors of threats. He later learned a friend of his was shot.
He tried to stop the person that came in our school and tried to hurt everybody. He tried to stop and he had got shot at.
This has to stop. This senseless killing, and now it's not even with adults, it's kids killing kids, senseless.
Authorities are trying to determine a motive. So far, the student is not talking to authorities about what led to this tragedy.
The Federal Trade Commission is investigating supply chain disruptions. The FTC is ordering Amazon, Walmart, Kroger, Procter & Gamble, Tyson, Kraft Heinz, and other major retailers to turn over information about their ability to obtain and deliver goods. The companies have 45 days to respond.
Jurors in the sex trafficking case against Ghislaine Maxwell heard from Jeffrey Epstein's former pilot today. Larry Visocki took the stand and testified about the high-profile passengers he flew on Epstein's plane, including former President Bill Clinton. A Clinton spokesperson says the trips in question were in connection with work for the Clinton Foundation. Ghislaine Maxwell is facing 6 counts for allegedly creating a network of underage victims for Epstein to sexually exploit.
Coming up after the break.
A new mother is in a desperate fight against COVID-19. Coming up, how a misconception about vaccines and breastfeeding may be to blame.
As a new COVID variant spreads around the world, a reminder from doctors here in Utah.
We really hope that we start seeing a downward trend.
What's happening in our hospitals right now that we need to focus on?
Utah's famous for its outdoor opportunities, but a new report shows just how bad last year was for Utah's outdoor recreation economy.
The BYU women's soccer team is in their first ever Final Four. We'll hear from their head coach before the College Cup.
The new Omicron variant hasn't been detected in the United States yet, but doctors are getting ready.
Canada confirmed cases over the weekend. Fox 13's Eliana Sheriff spoke to Utah doctors who say we must stay focused on a greater threat.
We don't know much about this variant. This variant was identified last Wednesday.
We've seen many variants of the original coronavirus, but this variant has over 50 mutations, while Delta only has 9.
Those mutations potentially could lead to different characteristics of the virus. It could lead to being more contagious or less contagious. Really, really early data. I'm hesitant to make any kind of claims about transmissibility.
Omicron is the dominant viral variant out of South Africa, and in less than a week, it's already spreading across the globe. Still, there's a bigger problem here at home.
We shouldn't lose sight of what's happening to us right now in Utah.
And that's the Delta variant, overflowing our ICU at 102% capacity, and they haven't seen the full impact of the Thanksgiving holiday, creating a feeling of dread in the healthcare industry.
We really hope that we start seeing a downward trend to give our caregivers a holiday break and relieve some of the pressure in the ICU.
Look at this graph from today's patients hospitalized with COVID-19. 85% of the people being admitted are not fully vaccinated, and 15% are fully vaccinated, but most of them have comorbidities.
These are people that fail vaccines in general. They fail the pneumococcal vaccine. They fail the influenza vaccine. These are people that haven't been able to generate an immune response to appropriately protect them from COVID-19 and severe disease.
Dr. Stenium says vaccination is our way to prevent the ongoing development of variants. Even if you've had COVID, he urges you to get the vaccine. Dr. Stenium says they see that vaccine immunity waning around that 6-month mark, which is why he recommends getting your booster. And it's easy to get. You can make an appointment at your local county health department or find a pharmacy nearby. And don't forget to take your vaccine card with you. In Salt Lake City, Eliana Sheriff, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Right now, Moderna and Pfizer are looking at developing an Omicron-specific vaccine, which could take about 100 days. Dr. Stenium says right now the challenge is the Delta variant, which is why getting vaccinated or boosted is so important. Advisors to the Food and Drug Administration are recommending emergency use authorization of an antiviral pill to treat COVID-19. Molnupiravir is for COVID-19 patients at risk of developing severe symptoms. Drug maker Merck says the pill reduces the risk of hospitalization or death by 30%. Next, the FDA will consider the committee's recommendation. Doesn't have to follow it, but often does. New at 9:30, a young mother is fighting for her life battling COVID-19. Desi Scopesi has been hospitalized since October 29th.
Her family says she was planning to get vaccinated after she finished nursing her son. Fox 13's John Franke joins us live with the story from Salt Lake County. John?
Well, hey guys, Desi is only 23 years old and actually works in healthcare. She's been on a ventilator since early November. Tonight, her family is praying for a miracle.
Her condition has progressed very rapidly.
Nicole Cowie gets emotional when describing her sister Desi's condition.
From the beginning of November until now, she has been in extremely critical condition and is requiring a lot of support to maintain her life.
The mom with a 1-year-old son named Leo is fighting for her life at University of Utah Hospital.
He knows that she's gone. He can feel that. But the beautiful thing about children is they are incredibly naturally optimistic and joyful.
Desi's family tells us she chose to postpone getting the COVID-19 vaccine until after finishing nursing her child. According to guidance from the CDC, the vaccine is recommended for women who are pregnant, breastfeeding, or planning future pregnancies. That same CDC guidance indicates clinical trials for the vaccine did not include women who are breastfeeding, and data is limited on the effects of the vaccine on the breastfed baby.
It's really common for people to think, never me, right? She's young. She's 23, and I have been, it's been very sobering to watch how quickly her condition has progressed.
Nicole just wants Desi back home with her husband and little boy, but she knows that won't happen overnight.
None of us knows what her journey will look like, but we know that it will be long.
The road to recovery has been filled with hurdles and setbacks. They're hoping and praying to finally get some good news.
Our family has great faith and hope, and we will accept any and all prayers that that anyone is willing to offer.
And Desi also did not have any pre-existing conditions. The family has set up a GoFundMe to help pay for those massive medical bills. If you'd like to help, that link is on our website. In Salt Lake County tonight, John Franke, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Thanks, John. A University of Utah assistant professor is developing a new way to detect breast cancer that is safer for women in certain age groups. Doctors say women should not start getting mammograms until after the age of 40 because it involves a small dose of radiation. But studies show between 5 and 7% of breast cancer patients are under 40. Assistant Professor Benjamin Sanchez Terrones is developing a different diagnostic tool that uses a low electrical current instead of radiation.
So in this case, because the patient is just holding an electrode with one hand and the operator is just touching body parts, it's entirely painless.
Researchers conducted an early clinical study on 48 women, 24 with malignant breast cancer and 23 with benign lesions. The study showed the procedure was 70% effective at predicting whether a patient has cancer and 75% effective at determining if a person did not have cancer.
There is a new police chief in Provo tonight. Fred Ross was sworn in a virtual ceremony today. He started his law enforcement career in 1989, working first for the University of Utah Police Department while completing his bachelor's degree. In 1995, he moved to the Salt Lake Police Force, where he eventually became deputy chief. Most recently, he served as chief of the Utah Transit Authority Police Department. Utah Governor Spencer Cox was on hand today to help cut the ribbon for a new training facility in Salt Lake City.
The Associated General Contractors of Utah officially opened their new training center next to their headquarters. The AGC of Utah campus will train new contractors in everything from construction to truck driving to heavy equipment operation. For information on classes and courses, go to fox13now.com.
Outdoor recreation in Utah has a big impact on our economy, but the pandemic has had an even bigger impact on the industry. We'll take an in-depth look at just how much coming up. Utah is famous as a place for outdoor recreation.
This month, the federal government added up just how much Utah's economy relies on it. Fox 13's Max Roth takes an in-depth look at the numbers.
In 2019, 83,000 Utahns worked in the outdoor industry. In 2020, it was 62,000. Part of the reason for that decline is the nature of Utah's recreation economy.
Outdoor recreation means a lot of different things. For Indiana and Wisconsin, well, it means manufacturing a lot of recreational products. In Florida, it's boating and fishing topping the list. In Utah, it's snow. $468 million a year goes towards snow activities. Only Colorado makes more, $1.15 billion. 31% of Colorado's outdoor money goes towards snow sports. Utah's snow money is 22% of the total spent on conventional outdoor activities. Outdoor recreation is responsible for 2.5% of Utah's economy and the same percentage of all wages made by Utah workers. But almost 4% of Utah's jobs rely on outdoor recreation. That difference, 2.5% of the money, but 4% of the jobs, means the jobs tend to pay less than others. Full-time incomes averaging $44,000 a year.
In terms of dollars, from 2019 to 2020, Utah's outdoor recreation economy slipped 23%. The national drop-off was 18%. Utah suffered from too little snow, too much COVID. In the newsroom, Max Roth, Fox 13 News, Utah.
It is the season of giving. Coming up, how Fox 13 News, the Candy Cane Corner, and others are bringing joy to families in need and how you can help.
BYU women's soccer team is in the College Cup for the first time ever. Coming up, we'll hear from their head coach, Jennifer Rockwood. And it's championship week for the Utes and Aggies. Utah blew out Oregon just a few weeks ago. What do they expect from the Ducks this week?
We are so glad you could join us for Fox 13 News. I'm glad you could join us.
Oh, happy to be here.
Yeah, in for Kelly tonight. Fox 13 meteorologist Allison Krogan, who's here most nights. We'll have your first alert forecast in just a few minutes. Hopefully the haze will go away
Yes,
soon.
see those mountains.
That'd be nice. Well, this is Giving Tuesday, and Fox 13 News invites you to help the most deserving families in our community.
This Thursday, we are collecting items to make the holidays a little brighter for Utahns experiencing homelessness. Fox 13's Haley Higgins shows us how to donate to the Candy Cane Corner.
The Road Home and Volunteers of America are teaming up with Fox 13 to help Santa Claus this holiday season.
Merry Christmas.
Candy Cane Corner is a holiday gift program serving struggling families and those experiencing homelessness.
We want to make sure that the families that we serve get to have kind of the same holiday experience as so many families where they get something new, right?
But we need your help. On Thursday, Fox 13 will collect needed items, including new toys, large blankets, food storage containers, diapers, wipes, and wrapping paper.
Gift cards are great. We will take gift cards in increments of $5, $10, $15, $25, and $30. The preferred locations are Target, Walmart, Amazon, even Visa would be wonderful.
In the past, a pop-up store allowed families to shop the donated items. This year, volunteers will gather custom gift bags to be delivered by caseworkers before the holiday. And on Thursday, there are 2 locations where you can drop off your donations. The first is here at the Maverick Center, where you can just drive up. The second one is at a downtown location. We have the addresses on fox13now.com/Candy Cane Corner. Reporting in West Valley City, Haley Higgins, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Last year, the Candy Cane Corner helped around 2,000 Utahns experiencing homelessness. Nearly half of them were children. We'll be broadcasting live from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Utah Symphony and Opera Rehearsal Hall in Salt Lake or the Maverick Center in West Valley City. For a full list of the most needed items, go to fox13now.com and click on the Candy Cane Corner tab on the top of the page. Meantime, tonight is opening night for the 51st annual Festival of Trees in Utah.
Trees, wreaths, quilts, food, and more line the Mountain America Expo Center in Sandy. All of it is up for auction to benefit Primary Children's Hospital and its young patients. The event runs until Saturday, and you can bid on these beautiful creations in person and online. Now, while we visited the festival today, we met a very special woman, Patty Peterson. Patty is from Nevada, and 5 years ago, she found out about the festival while getting chemotherapy treatment here in Utah. Now, to help herself cope with the treatment, every year she has been creating quilts and clothes for the festival. But because of her health, she was never able to attend in person. Her friends teamed up with Primary Children's Hospital to create a storefront at this year's event for Patty to not only sell her creations, but to finally get to see the festival in person.
I just had every faith in them, but I didn't know it would be this spectacular. I didn't expect it to be this big and this lovely. And it means everything to know that as my passing comes about, that there will be a legacy that they created, and it's as much to them as it is to me.
What a beautiful, brave soul. Patty has recruited dozens of what she calls helper elves back home in Nevada to create items every year to benefit the Festival of Trees, and hopes that they will continue to help no matter what happens to her. Patty, thank you for your generous spirit and your inspiration.
Yeah, I can't believe December is tomorrow.
I know.
Doesn't feel like December at all.
November was a bit of a surprise after that wet October that we had, and then we had a very dry November, and now we're entering December, and we're off to a very warm start over the next couple of days. I'm Fox 13 meteorologist Allison Krogan, tracking poor air quality here along the Wasatch Front. So for tomorrow, all of us here along the Wasatch Front can expect moderate air quality. That's everything that you're seeing in yellow for Cache, Weber, Davis, Salt Lake, Utah, Box Elder, and Tooele counties. If you're in the Uinta Basin, good air quality. Same thing for southwestern Utah, for Washington County. Now here along the Wasatch Front, we also have voluntary action tomorrow. So if you can cut back on driving, combining those errands, not idling your car, those are all good ideas. Carpooling. Temperatures right now about 30 to 35 for Provo, Salt Lake, and Ogden. 31 currently for Logan. St. George currently 54. Cedar City 36 right now. Temperatures today about 5 degrees above average, and our sun will rise tomorrow morning around 7:30. As you wake up here along the Wasatch Front, by 8 o'clock, 33 degrees in Salt Lake City. By 10 a.m., we're back into the 40s. We do have mostly clear sky right now from Utah County up through Ogden. A few clouds for the Cache Valley. One of the other concerns related to our air quality will be some haze for driving. So areas of lower visibility will be possible this evening and over the next couple of days. But dry roads, happy about that. Overnight temps, 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, right around 30 to 35 for Provo, Salt Lake, and Ogden. And then during the second half of the day tomorrow, 3 o'clock, we're close to 50 degrees for Ogden, Salt Lake, Provo. For the Cache Valley, Park City also close to 50 degrees at that time. And for St. George, mid-60s. We'll keep things dry here over the next couple of days, passing clouds at times. And then as we enter next week, Monday into Tuesday, this is our next best chance for a system that's going to come in and really help clear out our air. It's also going to bring us chances for valley rain and mountain snowfall into December. So I'm going to have your 10-day forecast in just a second for the Wasatch Front, St. George over the next 7 days. You're going to be in the upper 60s through the end of this week, mid-60s this weekend, low 60s or close to 60 next Monday and Tuesday. Here along the Wasatch Front, we are in the 50s through Saturday. A little bit cooler Sunday into early next week. We'll start with those snow levels about 7,000 feet, and then by the end of next week, we're cooling down even more and that's when we're going to see a better chance for some snow down to the valley floors, and that looks more promising for some good snow for our resorts. So we'll keep our eye on that and hope that things continue to come together as those models continue to update.
A lot of players on the Utah football team know what it's like to play in the Pac-12 championship game. This will be their third appearance in the last 4 years. But the Utes are still looking for their first Pac-12 championship. They feel good about their chances this Friday against Oregon. And why wouldn't they? The Utes will play the Ducks just 13 days after beating them by 31 points, ending their shot at the college football playoffs. But they expect a better effort on Friday.
I know they're more motivated, especially, after, coming in, not playing their best football. Just as far as the energy, I feel like it'll be a different team, but other than that, it'll be about the same.
We just worry about our mindset, right? But I know they're mad. I know they're going to come out hot, so it's exciting. What more could you ask for than have two teams with that mentality?
We really want to hit them in the face from the get-go and make sure that we set the tone early and let them know that we are the same team that played them last time. I think they're going to try to do some things that they haven't shown. They had a tough game last time, and we expect them to come out fast. Trying to do things that maybe exploit us. We just got to play our assignment and execute. It's a huge game. We're trying to make history.
Utah State will play San Diego State in the Mountain West Championship game, 1 o'clock on Saturday, which you can watch right here on Fox 13. No one expected the Aggies to be in this game, but they're here after a remarkable 9-win season.
I couldn't be happier for this opportunity. I was a part of it when I was at Fresno, but didn't get to play. And now that I'm actually playing and I'm going to be a part of it, it means a whole lot, especially ending my career this way. Best thing forward is go out with the win.
I think we're really excited about being in the game. But at the end of the day, we're not excited about being there. We're very excited about competing and try to win the game. Overall, I think that the season's been a really good job of just overcoming adversity a lot and just sticking to the plan. That's it. Day by day, 1 degree better every day, just sticking to the plan and see what happens. And I think that we've done a really good job of that all year.
BYU women's soccer team 2 wins away from a national championship. The Cougars will play Santa Clara in the semifinals on Friday. Head coach Jennifer Rockwood has had some great teams during her 27-year career at BYU, but this is the first time the Cougars have reached the College Cup.
I'm thrilled. I've worked pretty much my whole career to maybe get to this point. I'm just going to try and enjoy it and not to put too much pressure on us. But, we've had fun this season. We've been through some ups and downs. And just like any team, you got to battle through the rough times, learn from them, and then try and play your best soccer at the end of the season. And right now, I feel we're playing our best soccer. So we're going to try and keep things the same way we've been doing them for the last few weeks and hopefully ride it out.
So the College Cup's in Santa Clara, but there are Cougar fans everywhere as well.
That's right.
So she says she expects there to be a lot of Cougar Blue there to watch him this weekend.
Well, we wish them the best of luck
So
down
exciting. So many big games this weekend.
Oh, it's a big week for sports. Always is, but especially
this weekend. Thanks, Jeff.
We'll be right back. Thanks for being part of Fox 13 News at 9.
QuickCast is up next.